Hello, I want to chat with you today about how snacks are not satiating. So, I often notice that people's, their eating habits might be all over the place, but that something people do is they're kind of snacking and they're grazing all throughout the day, but snacks really aren't satiating or satisfying and they really don't feed your body. So you might not feel good in your body, your energy levels might feel low, you might not really ever feel fed. And so you constantly do have this drive to go snack and eat because you've never really truly fed yourself. And one of the reasons is that our bodies tend to prefer some sort of regular, predictable homeostasis of routinized, schedulized meal times. And that's not to say that it has to be perfect all the time, but if you are on, or if you've ever kind of had a good routine of I'm having, some decently balanced good breakfast meals and lunch meals and dinner meals, and then you notice it when you get thrown off your schedule and you're maybe not able to eat those normalized, routinized, scheduled meal times, that you don't feel as good, and you really realize the power of normalizing and routinize your eating schedules and not just relying on snacks. And so something that I experienced recently where I was at work for an event and we were pretty busy, so we didn't have really the ability to have breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Some of those meals we did, but we were more or less living on these pre-made snacks, like bars, the pre-made overnight oats. And while they get you through and they give you carbs and they give you sustenance and energy, they don't truly give you that feeling of being fed, satiated, satisfied, and feeling good in your body. So there really is just power, one, in a good balanced meal, but also there's power in routinizing and schedulizing your eating habits. And so something I might have mentioned before is that a foundational and fundamental skill for good nutrition and good eating habits is regulating your eating behaviors. A lot of people, as I mentioned, their eating habits might be all over the place. They really don't have any rhyme or reason. They're kind of haphazard, is a word that I always use. And by learning how to regulate their eating behaviors and kind of regulate the times that they're eating actually would fall under the practice of normalizing and routinizing your eating habits. And what that can look like, for example, a daily action could be to have a regularly scheduled breakfast at 8 a.m. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but generally as a whole, humans and the human body do better and best on some sort of homeostasis where they're getting regular meals at regular scheduled times. But of course, there are going to be times when we might get off that schedule, but generally it prefers that, homeostasis and that balance. But we can with these off days or times or weekends, get through that. But I've even found personally, like I mentioned, myself, that when we have those, we typically eat breakfast at this time and we have a balanced meal at 8 a.m., let's say 12 to 1, and then dinner at, let's say 5:30 or 6. If that's kind of your normal eating schedule and you're having good balanced meals at that time, you feel like you have energy, you even feel fed and satisfied and satiated. And so that's one thing that I just highly recommend to people that can be really powerful. But to be able to have that, let's say, that practice of normalizing and routinizing your eating habits, you might also have to plan ahead to be able to have a good balanced meal at breakfast. That's going to mean planning ahead what foods you would want to have for breakfast that you're going to enjoy, that are also going to be, healthy or helping you reach your goals, helping you feel good in your body, but then might also work into your schedule and your life for how much or how little you can spend time preparing those foods. I always balance convenience and health, or something being super easy but also healthy and satisfying. But that is just such a powerful thing to do, is to have that routinized, scheduled meal times. Another thing that people can do, other than the have a normal breakfast, have a normal lunch, have a normal dinner. And again, this isn't even saying to be perfect with those things, but start to have those scheduled meal times so that your eating habits aren't all over the place. I also always talk to my clients about getting past the point of no return. So sometimes people might skip a meal, whether that's intentionally or unintentionally, because they just got so busy, and you get to this point where you're so hungry, you're past the point of no return of being able to make like a mindful, wise choice with your food. So you're either going to go out to fast food and get something that's super easy but not make you feel very good, or you'll just like skip that altogether, which isn't always healthy or the best thing. And so honestly, having like practical taste or practical hunger, or just even like practical discipline for planning ahead so that you have things available so that you don't get past this point of no return, whether that's having some stuff like half prepped at home so that when you get home at night after work, you don't have to spend a ton of time prepping, but maybe you already have meals completely prepared so that you come home after work and you already have that made. It could be for lunch, preparing a salad, a really satisfying salad ahead of time so that you have it with you at work, or maybe it's some sort of wrap or sandwich that is satisfying and meets in the middle of like what's a pretty good choice for you to bring to work with you, so you're not getting to that point where you go and get something that doesn't maybe align with your goals or feel very well. And or it can just be like having, I guess, heartier snacks that just like get you through as you're cooking your meals, but trying to plan ahead and have this practical mindset of being mindful of not getting to that, past that point of no return. And then other things that people can do for the daily actions of routinizing and normalizing their eating habits is appetite check-ins. Honestly, it might seem interesting, but to every few hours check in with your appetite and ask yourself and really see like, how am I hungry right now? Should I eat something? How are my hunger levels? How are my energy levels? And really check in with yourself so that you can give yourself more or less the sustenance that you need to get you through your work or whatever it is that you need to do. So those are a couple of things that can be helpful to routinize and normalize your eating habits, to just help you to feel better overall. I honestly love when I have these moments where my eating schedule is off and I can really see the benefit and the power of having, normal, regular go-to meals that I have, but also having like normal, regular meal times, and how much better I feel when I plan ahead to have groceries like at home so that I can make these meals that I know that are satisfying, that are going to help me to feel good in my body, and to help me to more or less like give me energy and to fuel me, but also ones that I'm going to enjoy eating. Really is so much power in having that, and regulating our eating behaviors by routinizing and normalizing our eating habits. And you could also go steps further if you wanted to, and thinking ahead for different events where if you know that you're going to be out of the house, or if you're going to be traveling, to either have a meal to bring with you, whether that's to the airport or on the drive, or snacks that you know that are going to be satisfying, like on the flight or on the drive, whatever it is. But you can certainly plan ahead. You can do your best. You might not be able to control everything, but then there's also situations where you might not be able to control everything, and you're going to do the best you can, but there are tools that you can bring with you. But anyway, all I wanted to chat with you about today was the fact that living off of snacks is not satiating. It does not help you to feel your best, or to function your best, to perform your best. And getting into the habit of having regular scheduled meals and planning ahead in some form or fashion to have those regularly scheduled meals, because our bodies do best on some sort of balance, some sort of routine, some sort of schedule, some level of homeostasis. And again, we can, if our schedule does get thrown off, we can adapt. But overall, that regular routine and the regular schedule is what our bodies do best with. So whatever it is that you need to start with right now, whatever first step it is, whether that's having a routine for breakfast, that might change how you feel. Having and bringing lunch with you might really change and impact how you feel and how you perform and how you function. But so think about this, think about how you can normalize and routinize your eating habits so that you can feel better. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you next time.